Two Mongols bikies, who mistakenly shot an innocent man, have been sentenced at Supreme Court of Victoria on Thursday the 8th of August 2023. Story starts on November 9, 2019, when two men had been waiting outside victim's Croydon house before he left for work in his white van. At around 2 a.m., the victim, Paul Virgona, 46, a fruit grocer, followed his daily commute where he was going to pick out the day's fruit and vegetable order. Not knowing that he was being followed by these two bikies in a stolen Mercedez Benz. As he traveled through the Melba Tunnel en route to the Epping market, the two men drove close to his van and then pulled alongside. They then fired 11 rounds into his vehicle. Virgona's van spun out of control on the freeway, as he lost control and died within seconds of the deadly shootout. When police found him, the engine was still running, his phone was illuminated in his lap and Virgona was dead. There was blood all over the driver's seat, car steering wheel, and the door, creating a disturbing display of horrendous events that had unfolded. The killers then fled the scene to Moorulbank where they torched the stolen Mercedes and took off in a Volkswagen Amarok, a getaway vehicle that had been planted there for escape. Not knowing that all this action was being captured by street cameras, and the footage would be later gathered and reviewed by police and used as evidence. While inside the escape car, the duo grew anxious and nervous, and their acceleration led to their capture on surveillance cameras for exceeding the speed limit. This triggered a pursuit by patrolling law enforcement around 3 a.m. The two men were then pursued by police in a high-speed chase as they fled before crashing the Volkswagen and abandoning the getaway vehicle in the heart of a Bayswater road, hastily fleeing on foot. Amidst their flight, they left behind a half-eaten Kit Kat, a health club hooded top, and a bag from the shop Culture Kings with clothing that had DNA on it. The police confiscated the bag and the belongings, which contained both gunshot residue and the DNA of the perpetrators. This bag and belongings would later become a pivotal piece of evidence in the murder investigation, ultimately contributing to their identification, prosecution, and eventual conviction for the crime. Following investigations, police arrested these two Mongol bikies in January 2022. They were Josh Ryder, 33, and Aaron Ong, 37. Both were charged for murder. Josh Ryder, from Port Melbourne, had been a member of the Mongols MC for about 10 years, and Aaron Ong, of Kilsyth, was an associate of the bikie club for about 5 years at the time of the shooting. Initially, Ryder staunchly denied any involvement in the murder, but with DNA evidence and CCTV footage placing him at the scene, he changed his plea to guilty on the eve of his trial. But Ong fought a murder charge and pleaded not guilty all the way. A plasterer by trade, Ong's criminal history included possessing and manufacturing drugs, and offenses related to ammunition and proceeds of crime. Ryder also had a long criminal history, which included violence, drugs and firearms offenses, and at the time the duo planned this murder, he was on a community correction order due to his previous convictions. Ryder had gained significant recognition within the bikie circles. At the point of his arrest, his social media was adorned with numerous pictures featuring prominent and notable bikies, including Toby Mitchell, the former president of the Mongols, and Dylan Goddard, known as the Destroyer, possibly owing to his interest in boxing. Amidst his arrest, the Victoria Police conducted raids on Mongols clubhouses and establishments linked to Toby Mitchell's tattoo business, as they diligently sought out evidence to support their investigations. On Thursday, August 10, 2023, Ryder and Ong were jailed for 30 and 35 years respectively for what is described as a murder of the worst kind. Prosecutors could not prove which of the pair was behind the wheel of the high-performance Mercedes that had followed Virgona from his home to the murder scene, but said their guilt was based on them acting together. The murder weapon has never been found, but is believed to be a semi-automatic handgun, from which 11 rounds were fired and 7 hit the victim fatally, who died of blood loss. It is also unclear which of the pair fired the fatal shots. It's likely that Ryder was the gunman and that Ong was behind the wheel. Virgona, a fruit grocer, ran his own business by the name Virgona's Fresh Produce, in Thornbury, and serviced hospitality venues across metropolitan Melbourne. He had no criminal links or criminal records, and was also not associated with the Mongols. Police believe the execution may have been a case of mistaken identity. According to reports, the victim was caught amid an escalating feud between the Mongols and the Finks, and the pair were tasked with shooting a member of the rival Finks, who lived on the same street as Virgona. According to his family, Virgona was a devoted family man, who had been with his wife for 22 years. He was appointed head coach of the Croydon Football Club's under-19 side, shortly before he was killed. At the time, he was also winding up his business to spend more time with family. The killers Aaron Ong and Josh Ryder have been sentenced to lengthy prison terms and will not be eligible for parole for at least 21 years. As Ryder faces 30 years behind bars, with a chance for parole after 21 years, while Ong's sentence is even longer at 35 years, and he may seek parole after 24 years and 6 months. The crucial difference lies in Ryder's admission of guilt and Ong's denial, affecting their outcomes. Both are still associated with Mongols MC.